Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh. Gonna wait and see if anybody pops on. It's only been 10 seconds. And so, yes. Did you know that Aries was my rising sign? I'm not the most patient person, but I'm practicing that. I'm especially practicing that today. You know as well as I do that it's been a very interesting, intense, and somewhat emotional day. So for us as a nation. So I just want to just stop right there until somebody has popped on. So I see that we have two viewers. Do say hello so I can say hello back at you. Thank you so much for joining me for this debut session of Wellness Wisdom. And yeah, we're going to be talking about salt tonight. So it is the most basic of building blocks, so to speak, of our creation. And I want to really start with that one. It's an important one. But I'm also just having a moment. Hello, Karen. How are you, my dear? So glad to have you here with me today. My smile looks a little forced and I look a little tired. I hope that you will please forgive me. And yeah, it's just been a tough one. So, anyways, but I do want to talk about salt. I'm going to pull up my notes here so I don't get too off track. First of all, again, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for popping in to look at this video. Hello, Rachel. How are you, my dear? You've been on my mind. I hope you don't mind that I send you a little email later on in a few days via Facebook, just to update you about some things that are going on that I think you might want to know about. So look for an email from me in the next couple of days or so. But thank you, ladies, for joining with me tonight. And thank you for everybody else who happens to catch this in replay. Thank you for joining with me. If you don't know me, my name is Reverend Hope Suggett. I live here in the far reaches of northeastern Washington in the middle of nowhere. When you see me reaching down, it's to pet my cat, who always picks when I go live to want my attention, much like a 2-year-old. Anywho's, so thank you for being here. Now, before we get started talking about salt, I just want to put a little disclaimer out there that anything I share with you tonight and anything I share with you at any time around wellness and taking care of yourself and nutrition and all that kind of stuff, I want you to listen through your own filters of truthfulness and also to consult with your clinician if you have contradicting health conditions that these wellness tips would not benefit you. I want you to always turn to your clinician about anything that you question about your own health and well-being, okay? That includes anything that I tell you, whether it's about salt or body movement or meditation or anything. You know, if it doesn't sound right or you have any questions or whether or not it fits for you, make sure you talk to your clinicians. I am not a clinician. I am a minister in a shamanic tradition. I am not a clinician, okay? What I share with you are things that I have experienced myself and have derived benefit from. All right, so that's what I'm going to share with you guys. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell because you never know when I'm going to pop up. I'm going to be doing a little pop-up surprisey presentation here in the next couple of days or so. Well, maybe a week or so. I need to gather my thoughts about something that I've been wanting to talk about for about a year now. That's how long I've been sitting on it. So yeah, I'll be bringing that up too. So anywho's, la 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 la. Okay, awesome, Rachel. Thank you for that. So let's just get right into it. I'm sure you guys have a busy evening ahead of you. So let me just talk about salt. All right. Now I'm going to talk about 3 areas of our life that we typically use salt. Okay. That first one, of course, is nutrition. Then there's cleansing or cleaning, and then there's protection. And salt is good for all three of these things. And we're going to talk about all three of them, okay? And I have some little samples here to share with you and how I use salt. So this is pretty much unscripted. So I do have notes just to keep me on track, but trust me, I'll be running my mouth here in a little bit. So the first question I just going to throw out there, why do you think that salt is so critically important to us as human beings on a nutritional level? What do you think that we derive benefit, nutritionally speaking, from salt? Anybody? Anybody know why salt's so important for our human body? Ding, ding, ding. Rachel, you nailed it. You nailed it right on the head right there. It is truly for that. Now, when electrolytes, I mean, we all know it's so important to keep our electrolytes up and keep them balanced, and it's important for our health and everything. But the reason why these electrolytes, let's just look at the word electrolytes, why that is important and why, you know, how we use that is because it actually charges our heart and our brain. Without salt, our thought impulses, our muscle contractions, our ability to stand up is gone. It's just gone. Salt is crucial, a crucial nutrient for making our heart beat in rhythm, to make those brain synapses fire, to make those muscles contract and release so that we can walk, so I can move my fingers, so I can move my lips. All of that is due to salt and some other trace nutrients that come with salt, but basically because of salt. Now, back in the day when I was first learning how to cook, they used to talk about salting pasta water to make it as salty as the ocean. Well, I've never tasted blood, my own or anybody else's, thank you. But I would guarantee you, I would put money on this, that our blood is also as salty as the ocean. We are water. We are the ocean, and all of the little bits and pieces that make up the earth, that's what we are as well. Okay? So I'm just saying that salt is so crucial to our overall well-being. We could not exist without it. Back in the day, it was money. Salt was like the highest commodity that you could get your hands on. It was often saved for priests and royalty and things like that. Okay, and other people, peasants and the workers and everybody had to go and find salt their own kind of way. Okay, but salt served in with food and things like that was typically saved for royalty. It was that expensive. So we are super, super blessed to have a constant source of salt right now in our lifetime. Who's to say it'll be around in 200 or 300 years? But for right now, we have a constant source of salt that we can utilize. So lucky us. And I'm going to start talking about some of that salt because we are talking about nutrition. All right. So again, what I share with you here, take it in with your own truth filter and talk to your clinician if you have any questions, all right? Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is just overall salt. Now, when I was growing up, we had this product called Morton salt. It's the blue cardboard box that had the little girl and her yellow umbrella on it. Does anybody remember that? Well, back then, maybe it was salt, but I would bet right now that it is not the purest source for salt. I believe that it's more of a desiccant now or a chemical based salt, and I don't think you're getting any nutrition from it. If you're using that salt, you might be getting some iodine because they put iodine in it. However, you can also get iodine from other sources of salt that's way more healthier than Morton's. And I'm going to talk about that. Now, this here container is some Volt salt that I picked up at a grocery store in Montana a while ago. And even its label has additives on it. The first ingredient is salt, but the second ingredient is magnesium carbonate. Magnesium carbonate. Ooh, I don't know if you could see that. Yeah, I'm like, what the heck is magnesium carbonate? And is it really necessary? Now, magnesium is, but magnesium gluconate is what I typically take. And there's other forms um, of magnesium as well. I believe that this carbonate is just something to stretch the salt. Okay, salt has real healthy salt already has trace minerals in it. You should not have to add anything to salt to make it nutritional. So if you're buying salt off the shelves, look at the label and see if there's any additives in it. This carbonate, I bet, is for anti-caking. That's what it's for. It's anti-caking agent. Salt shouldn't need that either. All right. If your salt is caking up, throw in some rice, throw in a piece of cracker, throw in something else that will absorb the moisture and leave your salt dry and pure. But another way you can use salt and you don't have to worry about keeping it dry is by making salt water. Okay, this is Aqua del Sol, and it is Himalayan. I don't know if you can really tell on this camera, but there's a thin layer of pink Himalayan salt at the bottom, and the rest of this is water. What I like about preparing this kind of salt situation is that the salt will stop dissolving as soon as the water reaches an equal salinity as the actual salt. All right. So I can keep adding water to this. It will keep dissolving this Himalayan salt until the water reaches a certain salinity, and then it will stop dissolving. And so what I do is I take a teaspoon of this salt water and I put it in a small glass of water and I drink it every morning. This is my first beverage. This. Then I follow it up with some diatomaceous earth. But salt water is always my first thing. And I have to be honest, it feels like when I'm drinking it, it feels like my body is just absorbing all of the nutrients, all of the and my stomach feels clean. It's the only way I can describe it. It's like my stomach took a shower or something. It literally feels cleaner. And so I just love starting my day that way. So you might want to consider it. And while we're speaking about Himalayan salt, let's just talk about that for a minute. Have you ever wondered how in the heck the Himalayan mountains, one of the highest mountain ranges in the whole world, how it got so salty? It's because those mountains were in the ocean. They were underwater for eons and eons and eons over the formation of the earth. And then as the continents came together, it pushed up these mountain ranges and therefore pushed up the salt. And so now these salt deposits are being found in the Himalayan mountains, thank goodness. Now, what I really like about Himalayan sea salt, and I am going to call it sea salt, is because it came from the sea. The Himalayan sea salt has 84 trace minerals in it. 84 trace minerals in Himalayan salt. Okay? So I know that I am getting all of the nutrients that I need, and probably some extra stuff, you know, from this beautiful salt source. There's magnesium, there's calcium, potassium, phosphate. There's all, and phosphate is a building block of life, period. Without phosphate, we would be blobs. We couldn't coalesce into the skin and bones and muscles that we are as human beings. So all of those trace elements are nutrition, it's food for our body. So if you're going to be using salt, I highly recommend Himalayan pink sea salt. Okay. And I highly recommend this method of using it. I even use this for cooking because I don't have to worry about making the salt dissolve because, you know, Himalayan sea salt comes pretty coarse. So you could put it in a salt shaker like this one and grind it up. That's how I make it smaller. Here's a little dish of it. So it comes, I make it a little powdery, but what I really like is using it this way. The body absorbs it easier, it dissolves in your food quicker, things like that. So there's an option for you, but this Aqua del Sol is amazing for starting your day in a healthy way. And then I would say after that to wait maybe an hour before you have your coffee. Let this go through your system and do its work, okay? Now, that's nutrition. Anybody? Hello, Kara Gardner. So glad to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. So that is pretty much it for nutrition. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to add about how they use salt for nutrition? Some foods just taste better with salt. Potatoes, rice, pasta, all your starchy foods are going to taste better with salt. If you're a meat eater, that tends to taste better with salt. Um, So it does, it's a flavor enhancer, but when you think of it as nutrition, as a food source itself, you start appreciating it a little better. It will help with brain fog, with sore muscles, muscle cramps. If you're having some muscle cramps, have a little drinky pill of this, you know, instead of suffering through it. You can also add some to bath water. Epsom salts are mostly magnesium, but they also do have regular salt in them. So it's also beneficial for you to absorb it through your skin, which is your largest organ in your whole body is your skin. So when you soak in a salt bath, you are absorbing salt that way as well. So that is the nutrition portion of this. Oh, I do want to go back and talk about sea salt for just a moment, okay? So the reason why I don't typically just use white sea salt anymore is because the ocean is becoming too polluted for me to trust that as a source for salt. Because when they harvest salt from the sea, they don't go and clean it. You know, there's no bleaching or cleaning process. It's scraped out of the ocean, evaporated, and scraped off the floor and boxed and sold to you. And you don't know really what's in that sea salt. So that's why I also like the Himalayan sea salt. It comes from such an ancient period of time that it hasn't been polluted. There's nobody up in the Himalayas polluting them. And because it came up from the ocean at the very birth of the earth, it didn't get a chance to be polluted. So if you're using sea salt, consider switching it up to the Himalayan pink sea salt. It's still coming from the sea, but it's better for you. And you can trust the source, okay? So now we're going to take on another thing about sea salt is now they're finding microplastic in it. Those little beads of plastic is now being found in sea salt. So be careful of that, you guys. All right, so now we're moving on to the cleaning aspect of salt. So if you use cast iron pans, you know that salt is really good for cleaning those without taking away the seasoning of the pan. But also salt is really good for cleaning sacred spaces. It's got a purifying factor to it. I mean, like better than bleach. Sea salt can bleach things, by the way. Okay, so like if you spray it on your blue jeans, for instance, and hang them out into the sunlight and everything, that sea salt will speed up the fading part of the sun. It really will. It's really kind of, it's not only abrasive, it's a bit acidic. It's just really a great cleansing product. When I am moving into a new home or I'm sanctifying office space or something like that, I will make a sea salt solution and I will spray down walls and wash walls with it. Sometimes I'll add salt to my laundry detergent if I want to boost it. Borax, which is a salt that you can find in the desert, it does the same thing. It helps with the cleaning action. So salt has a very cleansing property to it. And if you are going to be using it for cleansing, you can use it dry or in a water solution. It doesn't matter. Either way is going to be as equally effective. I would say not to use it on the dry. Don't use the dry on crystals or anything like that. It would scratch it, but you can certainly make a saltwater bath for it and soak your crystals in that. Not too long. You only need like 5 minutes, and that salt will do its work and cleanse your crystals, not just of the energetic gunk, but of the physical gunk too. You know, any stickers that are left on it, any, yeah, just all kinds of stuff that you might find on crystals. It'll clean it right off. What else do I use it for? It's a solvent. So, like, say, like you buy something, as long as it's safe to get water on it, you can make a little paste of salt and water and put it on your little sticker on your item and just let it sit overnight. It'll just rub right off in the morning. Hi, Sherry. Nice to meet you. To see you here. We've met before, but nice to see you here tonight, honey. So thanks for joining us. Um, See, same thing, Carrie. Carrie just talked about her Himalayan salt lamps. It's exactly the same thing. It cleanses the air. It alleviates the heaviness of it. It literally will drop pollutants and dust particles and everything to the ground where you can vacuum it up. Yes, salt lamps are awesome for that. Yeah, and they do make you feel good. Like you took a trip to the beach. Let me show you, speaking of beach, let me show you some fun salt that I picked up on one of my Hawaii trips. Lava salt. It's black. And yes, it does have lava in it. It's not just colored black. It's salt that they harvested off of the black beaches of Hawaii. So I like this. I use this for spell work. I have never ever cooked with black salt before. I only use it for magic. So we'll talk about that when we get down to the protection part of our story here. So anyway, can you think of any other uses that you can use salt to clean with, or as a solvent, or even a polisher? You can use it to polish silverware. You can, as long as you're very gentle with it, don't go at it, really rough and hard, but just with a soft cloth and a little salt paste, you can clean your silverware or anything else that needs polishing. It's also really good for food preservation. Now, we could go back to nutrition for this, but really I put food preservation under cleanliness because that's what salt does. It kind of cleans the bacteria off your food. That's what it does. So, like when you go to preserve meat and you pack it in salt or lemons or anything, we're just preserving food in salt. is an amazing way to protect it from bacteria. Ooh, there's a thought. Instead of a sugar scrub, you can use a salt scrub so you can get the nutrition of the salt. Carrie was talking about adding it to olive oil and lavender for a body scrub. That's a great tip. Awesome. So that is the cleaning portion of my little chit chat. Now let's talk about protection. See, this is why I love salt. I mean, salt just on every level will help us. And I'll just tell you, we already kind of mentioned it when we were talking about the Himalayan sea salt lamps. It repels negativity. Any kind of negatively charged particles, in magic, you can use salt to draw protective circles around your altar or around your intention candle so that no negative influences can impact it. You can lay a little trail of salt across your threshold of your door during a protection ritual so that your house is guarded. You can also put little piles of it in the corners of your rooms for the same reason. You're kind of gridding that space with protection on all the corners. Make sure that you vacuum that up frequently and then replenish it if you feel the need to. But yeah, salt is very, very protective. Do not ever dismiss the power of salt for containing your sacred space, for keeping out unwanted influences. Now, I'm not saying lay some salt across the threshold of your door and then leave your door open. No, no, that's not going to help. I'm saying that in a ritual spell protection, you can lay that salt down with the intention that nothing harmful ever crosses over it, and it will be a barrier for you, an energetic barrier. Give it a shot. Let's see, what else did I say? Yes, thresholds, corners, circle of protection around spells. You could include salt in, like if you're doing a prayer bundle for protection, you could put a pinch of salt in it. You can put a pinch of salt in your intention candle after it started burning, okay? Put a little pinch of salt in your intention candle just to kind of protect the energy of it or to boost the actual intention of it. Does that make sense? Do you guys use salt in your magic practices or in your ceremonies or anything like that? Share with me. Talk to me. Or do you have any questions about it? Or because really, this is pretty much what I have to share with you guys. I would again, if you missed it at the beginning of this chat, I want to just remind you that if you want to start really, especially if you're going to start ingesting salt on a regular basis for your own health, just ask your doctor, okay? I don't want you going drinking a bunch of salt water. If you've got high blood pressure, that's not going to work, okay? But if you're ever feeling faint or lightheaded or anything like that, it could be due to low blood pressure. This might help you. This might help you. What salt does in our body is it helps us to retain water, which builds up our blood pressure, which helps us to stand and move and think clearly and all of those other important vital aspects of being human. But sometimes, due to other health issues, our blood pressure gets too high. Then we have to decrease our salt intake. So don't go jumping up and drinking a bunch of salt water. If you've got high blood pressure, there's a risk for it. And if you've noticed that when you start doing the saltwater practice, that your blood pressure is going up or something, stop it. Just stop it right away, okay? Don't, if you start getting ringing in your ears and your head's thumping like this and carrying, yeah, don't cut out the salt. We eat way too much salt in our food, especially processed food. Now, ever since I went to keto about 3 years ago, I don't eat processed foods anymore. So my blood pressure went down, and it was safe then for me to start this practice. So, yeah, processed foods has way too much salt in it, and it's not that good salt. It's not going to be your Himalayan pink salt. It's going to be that Morton's desiccant salt. That's not good for you. Okay. And I want to tell you too that with the Himalayan pink salt, you don't have to worry about taking additional iodine supplements. There's plenty of iodine in this salt as well. Okay. Oh, Rachel, really? Well, I'm going to tell you when you are doing that practice before you are casting out any spell in all of your prep work, consider adding salt. Like I always scrub down my altar with salt before I even put down the altar cloth and build it. I then put a circle of salt around the area that I'm going to be doing the spell work. Now, whenever you're using salt in spell work and things like that, you must take it all up and take it away from your house. Now, you can flush it down a toilet, flush the toilet, then put the salt in so it doesn't even stick to the bowl. It just goes right down with the water. Or you can take it away from your house. Now, don't go burying the salt unless you're doing it like at a beach or something. But if you're burying it in your backyard or your a park or something like that, even the forest, you could do damage because wherever salt goes, nothing grows. Salt. There used to be a term back in the day when during these horrendous war campaigns that people would go out and they would salt the fields of their enemies, meaning they were killing the crops. They were killing the crops, they were fixing it so that the earth couldn't grow any food there. Because even after the crops are done, the salt doesn't go away, it stays in the earth, okay? Until eons and eons of time goes by, or you plow it under so deep that it can't hurt the crops anymore. But that's what salting the fields did. It made it sterile. It sterilized them, okay? So don't go burying your salt in your garden and things like that because things will not grow. Make sure you dispose of salt ethically. And that's, I like flushing it. I really do. Because I know that it's just going straight back into the water treatment plant where it will be reprocessed and transmuted, transformed back into some beautiful drinking water, and everybody's happy. And my spell's done. So, anywho's, just keep that in mind. Can you recharge it at all like selenite? I'm not sure I know what you mean. Can you recharge it at all? Like, like, like charge your salt before you work with it? You can do that. Is that what you mean? I'm not sure I understand what you mean, Rachel. Ask it a different way that somebody like me can understand it. Oh, like can you charge crystal? Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna see if I understand you here, Rachel. I would say that salt is too abrasive for selenite. Selenite is super, super soft. Don't use that or cleanse rather. Cleanse. Yes. So you might have missed that part. So when you go to use salt to charge or cleanse crystals, make sure that you dilute it in water first. Okay. So my typical method, if I don't have this around or don't want to run to the kitchen to get it, is I will dissolve the salt in some hot water and let it cool. Then I'll put that into a larger bowl of water and put my crystals in it. Okay. I never, ever, ever, on pain of death, would I put a crystal in just raw salt because it's too abrasive. It'd be like you laying around in raw salt. Now, back in Portland, there were these things called salt caves, and you could go and lay around in these salt caves and stuff, and there was salt on the floor and everything, but you still wore slippers and you sat on something so as not to get the salt on your skin. Salt is very, not just abrasive, but corrosive. That's why it's a good solvent. All right. The funny thing about salt, sugar will recrystallize in the bloodstream, but salt will not. Salt will not recrystallize in your bloodstream. Once it is dissolved, it is dissolved. Okay, but it would be too harsh on your skin. All right. Oh yeah, they're amazing. That one is closed, and I think there's one in Mount Shasta, but they're not very popular anymore. I don't know why, because I really enjoyed it. It was a great experience. So if you find it, let me know. Rachel, did that answer your question? Did that answer your question? You don't have to charge crystals with salt, but it's great for cleansing, not just the physical cleansing, the energetic cleansing. Rocks are crystal, or excuse me, salt is crystal. Salts are crystals, okay? So they kind of like speak the same language as crystals do. So they're not harmful, but they can be a little abrasive when you just plunk a crystal on a bed of salt. It certainly can. Even if you're not moving that crystal around, just the weight of the crystal pressing into that salt can scratch it, and you don't want to do that. Awesome. I wish you would. I really, really wish you would. We could do it via Zoom or, in person since you're kind of right down the highway now. But yeah, we will get together anytime you want to and do that. I love talking about spell work. I've been wanting to kind of do that, but there's so much I want to talk to you guys about. It's like there's not enough time in a day. But I might have to work up a quick little how to cast a spell kind of class. But I'm also thinking about doing my 9 steps to divinity chakra workshop as well. So we'll talk more about that. So anywho's, oh yeah, do Carrie. I was, let's see, when were we there? We were in Mount Shasta in 2013, and they had that salt cave there. Of course, I couldn't tell you the street. I've only been in Mount Shasta once. But no, we did see it, and we went in and talked to them and everything and bragged about the Portland one and said how much we missed it and all that good stuff. Awesome, Rachel. I will make sure if you subscribe, you will know about that class, 9 Steps to Divinity. It'll be a 9-week class, and every week we'll address one of the chakras and everything about how to tell if that energy that's affecting the chakra is coming from the present or if it's something you're still dealing with in the past that needs to be resolved. We'll talk about the subtle energy bodies that correlate with every chakra. It's really involved, and it'll be a great class. So I hope you do sign up for that. All right, ladies. Well, that is pretty much my wellness wisdom around salt. I I think I addressed it all. Nutrition, cleansing, protection. Salt is your best friend. If you um, want to talk more about salt, like how to use it specifically in a spell or something like that, get with me. But just it's just handy to always have some salt water because when you use this water, you're going to want to dilute it. Okay, do not just take some out of this jar and just do no. That's too much. That's too much, and it's too harsh for your system. Always dilute it. I would not dilute it too much. I do a teaspoon per 4 ounces of water, and that's plenty. It's plenty. You're going to taste the salt. It's going to taste good. It won't be overpowering, and you're going to feel refreshed. I don't know how else to put it. In fact, I would ask for somebody to do this and get with me about what your impression was on it. How did your body feel after you did a little salty drink? Okay. And I do it first thing in the morning, first thing before I even brush my teeth, get that salt in me. You're very welcome, Carrie. You're very, very welcome. You stay safe as well, you guys. When I first started this video, oh, thank God you guys came on here to distract me because I was just so overwhelmed by the happenings today. And you know me, I don't like to go there. That's not what my channel's all about. That's not what my mission is for. There's a cajillion sites out there that will, this is a cat on my lap. That's what all that movement is. There's a lot of sites out there if you want to go and hear the latest and all of that. I try to keep everything that I present in a very positive and uplifting because that's what we need. We need more of that. And it doesn't mean that we're in denial or that we don't want to deal with it. It means that we want to feel stronger so that we can deal with it. That's the difference. That's what I want to bring to you guys is ways that you can say yes to your essential spirit so that you can keep moving forward in the world in a healthy, thriving way, not feeling defeated and not able to cope. All right, that's what I'm here for. And if I can help you in any way, please connect with me. Everything is still on a donation basis because of this thing COVID situation. Everybody's hurting out there, but it doesn't mean that we don't want to still get the help we need. Okay, so you need something from me, reach out. I will get that for you. Okay, that's a promise. Oh, good. Thank you, Carrie. I love hearing that. Thank you. All right, ladies. Well, I wish you the very, very best of evenings. You get out there and remember to always breathe and remember to make salt your friend in all aspects of your life. Okay? I love you. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye now. You're welcome, Sherry. Good to meet up with you too, Rachel. Get with me and ask me any questions you want to, okay? Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.